Welcome in. My name is Jason with Smart Part Solutions, and today we'll be discussing how to remove your old control board and reinstall your brand new control board, QC Medium Large, which is compatible with all the units that you see on your right hand side. If you want to take a moment, you go ahead and pause to see if your unit falls within the compatible units list. And if so, let's go ahead and dive right in. So before we begin, first things first is safety. We want to shut off the power to this unit. And this unit in front of you here is our demo unit, which is a Ecosmart 18 kilowatt. This has two 9 kilowatt elements, meaning there will be two separate breakers powering this unit. It'll be two double pole breakers, and you want to shut them to the off position. Now, once we do that, then we could go ahead and run back to our unit. All right, so now that our breaker is off, we could go ahead and remove the front cover of this unit. To do so, we're going to have to remove the two top screws. They're Phillips head and two at the bottom of the unit. There's two more Phillips head down here as well. Before we do anything else, we want to go ahead and spin that knob, verify that the LED display is not illuminating, indicating to us that there may not be power here, and that's what we want to make sure of. Go ahead and remove that knob. You just got to pull it out. Once you remove the four screws, then you could remove that front cover. And once you remove that front cover, the next step is to verify that we don't have power. Obviously, this is a demo unit, but for you, you're going to want to use a multimeter or a voltmeter at each leg to verify that there's no incoming power to the unit. Once we verify that, then we can continue with the next step, which is to remove the front cover of the control board. And that's going to be two Phillips head screws at the bottom and two at the top. Again, I've already removed mine to make this process a little bit quicker. And then you could simply remove that front cover. And now we can work on pulling out the old control board. All right, now with our control board cover disconnected from its base, I want to point your attention at a few key items here. There's not many plugs in here, so it's pretty simple to just disconnect everything and then reconnect everything as you go when you install the new one. So as you can see with this unit here, we have our very first plug at the top left, this white quick connect here, with our large red cable. This is your power cable for the control board. Then over to the right, we have our red, yellow, white, and blue. Each one is specific for each triac. Red is for track number 1, which is your first heating element. Yellow is track number 2 for your second element. And then as you can see, white is for number 3, and number 4 is your blue. So if you have a 36 kilowatt, you will have all 4 of these filled up. If you have a 24 or 27 kilowatt, then you'll have red, yellow, and white. And as you can see, this is an Eco 18, so we only have track number 1 and track number 2 at the very top. So I'll go ahead here and quickly disconnect these. So we'll start off with our power cable, and you want to be pretty gentle with this because you could cause damage to the unit, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to damage these ports as well, these quick connect plugs. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect them both. And then we're going to jump over to the right side of the unit to remove our thermistors and our flow sensor assembly quick connect plugs. Now, as you can see here, we have our thermistor. This is our inlet, which is our yellow, and our red down here below, which you could likely see here, is our outlet thermistor. And then you have the white plug here. Let me move these cables to give you a better view here. This white plug here, which is for your flow sensor. So we're gonna go ahead and gently remove these. Again, be sure to be gentle with these. You don't wanna damage the actual plug itself. And like I said, there's not much to it, so I might block your vision here, but quickly just pulling softly and pressing that little clip in there, and they pop out fairly easily. And just like that, we removed our power cable, our two triacs, our two thermistor inlet and outlet quick connect plugs, as well as our flow sensor. So let's go ahead and remove this board out of here. Now I have this specific angle here to show you the 4 screws that you need to remove. You'll notice the 2 here at the base, and you'll notice the one back here right by your jumper settings, and then you have another one here at the top. So let's go ahead and get a different angle here so I can remove these and show you how to easily remove your control board. Now it's best to have a magnetized Phillips head screwdriver because these screws are very tiny and they could fall. So I might be blocking your view here. Let me take that hand out, and I'm gonna go ahead and snag that one with my hand. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pull the other one out of here. Now this one could be a little bit difficult to get to. And That's the key right there, to have that magnetized head on your Phillips head screwdriver. Now remove the two bottom ones, and this should completely just pop off once we remove this last screw here. Now I will mention, you may want to keep your fuse, the ceramic fuse here, for your unit, because you could use it for potential use on your next controller that we're going to install. So if your fuse is okay, you can test that with a multimeter on continuity and check for ohms. If it's positive and you're getting good continuity, go ahead and keep it. If it's open and it's not functioning, go ahead and you can toss the entire board out. So let's go ahead and get our brand new board in here. All right, now in order to get our new board in place here, what I'd like to do is get the board essentially to sit in the base here, and then bring in one screw by hand and try to locate that hole here. And try to give it a little quarter turn if I can, by hand. Hopefully that'll keep it in its spot here. And it looks like I caught it right, yep. And then what I just go about 80% of the way. I don't want it too tight because I want to make sure that I can manipulate this board a little bit to get that top screw in place. And once I get the top screw, then I can just go ahead and replace all four of them and put them in nice and snug. Remember, at the end of the day here, you don't want to put anything too tight. This is a control board and it is very fragile, so you don't want to over tighten anything here. So we'll go ahead and put our last base screw in here. Then we'll go ahead and tighten this one up a little bit. And last but not least, the most difficult one here, which is all the way at the back. All right, and just like that, we have our control board in place. Now all we have to do is reinstall our triad cables and our power cable. So I'll begin with our power cable first. Remember, white goes for white, and it's the largest cable here, so it's pretty easy to distinguish which one's which. And then we'll get our triad cables here, and we'll go with our red one first. And we'll like to tuck them into space here and plug it in. And you should hear it click in to its position. And then we'll get our yellow cable here, and you'll hear it click in position. And now we'll go ahead and replace the last two, which is the thermistor set, as well as our flow sensor. Now remember, you want your thermistors to be on the inner slot. So you don't want them to go into these two, which are much easier to get to. You want to put them to the more difficult ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my yellow thermistor plug, which is my inlet. And your cable may be red or black like this one. This is the S103 model. Either way, it's the same exact thing, because you're gonna have a yellow plug with the yellow cable or the black cable with the yellow plug. And then your final one's gonna be your outlet thermistor, which is your red one. And the same concept goes here. Make sure you don't over tighten or over push it, just nice and snug. You'll hear it click into place. They're very simple. And lastly, we wanna go ahead and get our larger white one, which is our flow sensor. Plug in place. And just like that, we've installed a brand new board, replaced our power cable, our two triacs, our thermistors on the inner two, as well as our flow sensor. Now, when you turn this unit back on, if you get an error code for your thermistors, you can test it on the outer two and do the test again to see if the error code goes away. If the error code doesn't go away on either the on the outside or the inside, then chances are that your thermistors went bad when your control board went bad. So with that being said, we've now completed the installation for your control board. If you enjoyed today's troubleshooting video, like and subscribe, and visit us at smartparts.us for any of your tankless water heater needs.